Folks, we are on a roll with Florida content. Yesterday, we talked about the Florida market with a little bit of focus on Miami. Today, as a part of our new investor series, we are going to talk with Basilio a little bit about Orlando. Basilio, how you doing, man?
Good, Mike. Thank you for having me on your channel today. Appreciate it.
Awesome, man. Well, thank you for reaching out. This, folks, is part of our new investor series. If you are a new investor, meaning less than 5 years, and you are game to do a Zoom call, which we record, where we can share your amazing story, reach out to me on Instagram via direct message, or you can email me off my website. I hope to do dozens and dozens of more of these. But Basilio, tell us who you are, what you do, where you're at in your real estate investing journey, please.
Thank you, Mike, for the introduction. So, yeah, I actually work in security. I'm a security engineer full time, and I'm passively doing real estate investing today. And I'm based off of Orlando, Florida.
Awesome, awesome. So, when did you catch the bug? When did you start?
I started back in 2019.
Oh, not bad. All right. So 2019, well, 2019 is when you bought or you got interested in real estate investing?
No, I've always been interested. I would say back in 2010 when I bought my first property, which was my primary residence. That's when I got interested in real estate.
Okay.
But it took me literally 9 years to take that first step and buy my first rental after that first primary residence.
Okay. All right. Well, I always like to talk about the first deal. What is it? What are the kind of numbers? Where'd you find it? Tell us about that first one.
Yeah, so actually the first one, I guess I became like an accidental landlord because the first the intention originally with that property, which is actually is a property where in Orlando, actually is where I live today now, because back in those days I was living in Miami. So that's the first property I bought in Miami. That was where I was living at back then. Then in 2019, right, 9 years later, I bought this property in Orlando, planning to move to Orlando eventually.
Okay.
But for a while I was living in Miami, that became my first rental.
Okay. All right. So you bought it. You thought you found a good deal. It would be your next home, but there was a little timing issue. So do you remember the purchase price?
Yeah, 215.
And then what were you able to rent it for as you were buying time for you to potentially go there?
I was able to rent it for about 1,600.
Okay. All right.
So I was kind of like breaking even. Maybe I had, if I remember correctly, it was like I was like $100 positive.
Okay. All right. Now, were you able to get an owner occupant loan or did you have to get an investment loan? Do you remember?
I did 10% down, and I think this was just an investment loan, if I remember correctly. Yeah, it was not
that would make sense.
First time. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So all right. So you get that. Did you find it on the MLS? Did an agent bring it to you?
Yeah, just MLS. I came here with my wife to start looking at properties. Originally, we were not planning to buy in this area, but back then we were looking at different options, properties, and this one, we really liked it. Especially my wife was really excited about the house, and
oh, that's good.
That was a big part of the decision. The wife being happy about the property and liking the actual house, right? So
yeah.
But it was just
MLS.
Right. Yeah.
Okay, that's cool. MLS. I mean, I bought out of the MLS for most of my career, so it makes total sense to me. So the plan at purchase was to eventually move in. Did that happen? Did it not happen? Where do we go?
Yeah, that eventually happened, Mike. We moved here like 2 years ago, actually, because I'm actually heavily invested in Jacksonville, Florida.
Oh, okay.
So I originally had a plan to move to Orlando, but I moved to Jacksonville since that was my investing market.
Oh, okay.
And then I realized I didn't like Jacksonville, like to live there, but to invest is definitely a good place. But after a year of being in Jacksonville, we decided, you know what, let's go back to the original place that we had planned, right, which is Orlando.
Live where you want and invest where the numbers make sense. I couldn't agree more. I couldn't agree more. So what happened to the spot in Miami? Were you renting in Miami or?
Yeah, so that house in Miami, we bought it in 2010, like I said before, and we've been renting it since we moved to Jacksonville.
All right, so you have that still. You didn't.
Okay,
so you have that one.
Yeah.
Okay, got it.
Yeah, I will tell you that's the last property. If I ever have to sell any of my properties, that Miami will be the last one. I think it's such a good investment long term. This property in Miami.
Gotcha. All right, so it sounds at some point you turned your sights to Jacksonville. What was it about Jacksonville that got you excited? Versus Miami or Orlando?
Yeah, thank you. I would say cash flow was the main driver in that decision because Jacksonville is very well known for having cash flow opportunities, and the price points in Jacksonville are lower than other markets like Orlando or Miami. So for me, cash flow is my main priority because I'm trying to replace my W-2 income with real estate. So
Yep.
based on that, it kind of makes sense to start investing in Jacksonville, and that's when I took that step and I started investing actually around that time. When I bought the property in Orlando, I decided to invest in Jacksonville as well right after
Okay.
that.
All right. What was the first thing you found in Jacksonville?
So the first investment in Jacksonville was really interesting because it was sight unseen.
Oh no, really?
Oh yeah, yeah. It was a risky move, especially for a new investor, but
Right.
luckily I had a good realtor that I was relying on, and she went to the property. I found her on Bigger Pockets. She
Okay.
came with very good recommendations from other investors in Jacksonville.
Mhm.
So she went to look at the property. This was an off-market deal. I bought it at 66,000, single-family
Now,
home.
what year was this? Sorry.
This was back in 2020, so basically a year after I bought the
Okay.
property in Orlando.
All right. So 2020, like, do you remember what month? Like
It was
start month end?
around July or August.
All
Yeah,
right. So
around that,
again,
that time. Yeah.
2020, for people don't remember, the world, we were shut down. I guess Florida probably was already open by then. A lot of the world was scared. Uh, Interest rates were pretty low. Do you remember the rate you got on that one?
So I have all my properties at 4% interest. So yeah,
Score 4% investor loans. That's pretty amazing. All right.
yeah.
So sight unseen 66K. Did you get a loan or did you have to pay cash or what happened there?
No, I bought this cash, and basically what I did, I basically did a cash out refi since I had already appreciation on my Miami property.
Okay.
And with that money, I went and bought this cash. Yeah.
Okay. All right. And then was it a Burr project? Because I know Bigger Pockets was big on Burr.
Yeah. So sight
Okay.
unseen had different issues, including foundation problems. So
Oh,
so it
whoops.
was a really interesting learning opportunity, right? I will say definitely not necessarily the best property that new investors should buy, the first time,
Yep. Yep. Yep.
because it could be very intimidating, right? And discouraging at the same time.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, luckily, the realtor I was using in Jacksonville, she also is an investor. So when she went to the property, she gave me a good idea on exactly how much money I needed to put on the property, and including the foundation issue. She mentioned that as well. So I already knew before
Okay.
buying the property what I was getting myself into.
Oh, okay. So the foundation issue wasn't a surprise. It was just a big project.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So I'm curious. You're looking at this property 66K. What was the kind of estimate on repair? Are we talking 25 grand, 50 grand? What are we talking?
It was about like 30,000.
Oh, all right. And this is like a 3 bedroom, 1 bath, or what was it
It's a
exactly?
3-2,
Oh,
three
it's a three
bedroom, two
two.
bath.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah.
All right. All right. So you get into this property for about 100K roughly. Um, what did it rent for?
So back then it was renting at 1,200.
Okay. Now?
Of course, the rent now is at 1,300.
Okay. All right. And
Yeah.
do you still own it free and clear, or did you end up putting
Yeah,
a loan in?
yeah, and yeah, no, definitely. Well, eventually I got my money out. I did a conventional loan on this property,
Okay. So
cash out refi. Yeah,
yep, yep, yep. All right. So um so did you get all your money back, most of it?
yeah, it was pretty
Or-
much all my money back. Yeah, I got all my money back.
All right.
Yeah,
And then you had a 4% interest rate. So you're doing the perfect Burr, right? Buy a dump, fix it up, cash out refi, still have cash flow, got all the money.
yeah, and interesting
Magic.
enough, out of all my properties that I have today, that's the one that is cash flowing the best. The most.
Well, it's yeah, okay. I mean, that's pretty amazing. So, I got to imagine how long did that take from purchase, remodel, rent, and then get your money back? Was it like 6 months, 9 months? What are
Yeah,
we
like
talking?
6 months. Yeah, within six
Okay,
months, I took care of all that. Yeah.
that's not bad. All right. Where does Basilio? Actually, let's talk about the wife at this point. So you've got a couple of properties under your belt at this point. One in Jacksonville, one in Miami, one in Orlando. You're now living in Jacksonville. What's the wife saying about what's going on? Is she on board? You guys talking about money? How's the relationship?
Yeah, so she was on board, even though she had a lot of concerns. She's more risk adverse than me.
Sure.
So I'm the risk taker in the family.
Hmm.
And she was trusting me. She has been very supportive and trusting me, even though she was not necessarily agreeing with everything that I was doing at the beginning, especially buying the first property as a sight unseen property.
Yeah. I'm sure you had a discussion about that, as you should.
Yeah, yeah. So we had some disagreements at the beginning, which I
Okay.
will say that was a lesson learned that with your couples need to be on board, and it's good to have roles and responsibilities very well defined. to
Yeah.
make sure that you don't end up in arguments and even potentially destroying the dream, by not
Yeah.
having agreements on the plan.
Yeah. I got to tell you, a significant other that is on board 99% is not enough. 100%. Have the hard conversations. Get uncomfortable. Figure out what the root cause is. Let's because again, you will have bad days. There will be bad things, and if your spouse isn't there to pick you up, it could get out of control very quickly. Basilio, I just noticed you are wearing an amazing shirt. Can you show everybody what that is? Stand up a little bit. We
Yeah.
can't quite see it all. You use inflation to get rich. Ask me how. I love that shirt.
Yeah, wearing the
Oh,
shirt for the best occasion, right? The
there
perfect
you go.
occasion.
No, I love I love that shirt. I use it. I mean, we made that shirt in 2020 and it was so right. Use inflation to get rich. It's crazy. I guess I should ask about that first property in Jacksonville. What do you think the value is today?
Value, I would say probably 140, 145.
So it went up 40% from basically your all-in cost of 100 grand.
Yeah. Yeah, I would
Yeah,
say so. Yeah.
that's not bad. And oh, by the way, you've already gotten all your money back, so you're really up an infinite return, which obviously is the perfect burr. So where does the story go from here? It sounds like you have a bunch in Jacksonville. Where does Basilio and the family go next?
Yeah. So after that, I bought another property that same year in Jacksonville, another single family home.
Mhm.
This one was really good. I mean, I got it at a good price point.
Nice.
Bought it at 83,000, and the
Wow.
appraisal came at 160.
116 or 16D?
160, 160.
Wow. Tell me how the heck did that happen?
So I just went on the MLS, saw the property. I really like the pictures. Like when I saw the property online, I was like, you know what? I need to go there. And I was actually in Jacksonville at that time. So I drove to the property, went with my realtor, and just happened to be that when I went to see the property, the seller was there. And I
Uh-huh.
literally negotiated right there outside the house, while we were looking at the
Yeah.
property.
Nice. All right.
Yeah.
So do you remember what it was listed for?
I think it was listed at 85.
All right.
Um,
Okay.
so I got a very small discount on the property,
So
really, or reduction,
yeah,
but
yeah, the
it had a
value.
lot of potential. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm curious. Why did the seller want to sell? Because again, if the appraisal came back at 160 and the seller listed it at 85, did they just want to sell fast, or was
Yeah, they
there a
wanted to sell
problem?
fast
Or
because
Mhm.
the owner was one of these companies that buy houses and buys and sell
Oh,
houses.
yeah. Okay, I got you. I
Yeah,
got you.
yeah.
So they bought it. They wanted out. They just wanted to move. Okay, all right,
Yeah.
that's cool. What did that rent for?
So right now that's renting for about 1,400.
Okay, all right. Where do you go next? This is fun.
Yeah. So then after that, 2021, I bought two more properties
Okay,
around that same area. The
sure.
next property I bought it at 100K.
Okay. So everything you own is it all houses?
All houses except the last property I bought,
All right,
which
tell
is
me
a
about that.
duplex. But
Oh, it's a duplex. Okay. Tell me
yeah,
about that.
so right now I literally just closed on Friday on this
Oh,
property. Yeah,
I need to send you another card, I guess.
yeah. So this is a duplex in Winter Haven. This is
I don't
actually,
Is that close
um,
or where is it?
yeah, that's like 40 minutes down south of Orlando.
Okay. All right. All right.
So I started now looking at small multifamily because at this point I want to start scaling up the
Hmm.
portfolio so I can basically like get out of my W-2 or have the
Sure.
option to do so within the next 5 years.
Yeah, I like it. Okay.
So that's why I'm looking now primarily focused on duplex, triplex, and quad. And then I found this duplex that is pretty much ready. And there are actually tenants living in the property. So this is my first property
Oh,
where I'm
inheriting
inheriting
tenants.
tenants. Yeah, yeah.
Okay. So I'm curious. It sounds like you have property. I mean, I don't know Florida geography at all. So if this is stupid, just tell me. But it sounds like you're in at least four different cities, or at least three different cities with rentals. You got to have multiple property managers, or do you kind of
Yeah.
self-manage all that?
Yeah. So I have a property manager for the one in Miami. Then I have another property manager in Jacksonville,
Okay.
which has been great. I met her through Bigger Pockets, and she has been a really
Nice.
good help. With everything. So, and then the one that I just bought here in Winter Haven, I'm gonna be managing it myself since it is
Okay.
40 minutes from my house. I don't know
Okay.
if I'm gonna do that long term because it's my first time managing.
You're gonna give it a
Uh,
shot.
yeah, I'm gonna give it a shot. And also right now, due to the high interest rates, it kind of makes sense if I can, right, do
Yeah.
self management. That way, I have more cash flow short
Yeah.
term.
Let's give a shout out to Bigger Pockets because it sounds like one of the things you've used Bigger Pockets for, and this is a big thing for new investors, is you found critical resources. So I'm curious, how were you using Bigger Pockets to find the property manager, to find the agent? Were there forums? Was it
Yeah,
a
yeah.
post or?
I was basically going on the forums,
Okay,
and I will be searching for specific keywords. For example,
okay.
Jacksonville realtor, investor friendly realtors, things like that.
Got it. Okay. All right. So again, folks, there's a tip there. A lot of you are thinking out of state, out of area. It's difficult to network. Bigger Pockets has been around for a long time. I think their forums are amazing. And if you could put in some keywords, which I still have on my Bigger Pockets feed, um, like investor friendly agent, like Jacksonville in this case, you might get some leads to make some contacts. So Basilio, I think that's an excellent suggestion. So what does the portfolio look like today? What do we got? Unit count or
Yeah.
doors or whatever you want to call it.
So yeah, I have 5 doors
Okay.
in Jacksonville, 5 single family homes.
Okay.
Then I have one in Miami,
Yeah.
and then the duplex that I just bought.
That's awesome. So you're up to 8 units in roughly 3 years, roughly.
Yeah,
Roughly.
yeah.
That's pretty amazing. Um, I guess I would be remiss if I didn't ask it. The down payments for all of these, was this just living below your means and savings? Some of it sounds like cash out refis of your first purchase, which was 13 years ago. But when you get the down payment, where's that really coming from?
So throughout the journey of buying rentals, Michael, I will tell you, I've been using different strategies, like
Sure.
from saving money from my W-2, and my wife has also a W-2 job, so we're both saving.
Mm,
Doing cash out refis when we can, pulling out
yep,
the equity so that we can use that money to buy more rentals.
yep.
And also even getting to the point of getting loans on our 401ks.
Oh, I've done that. I've done that. Absolutely. It's
So
funny.
it has
One of
been a
the,
combination of all those. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's one of the things that's really interesting in your journey, like, because I really think you go through a growth mode, which you're in, and then at some point, 5, 6, 7 years from now, it'll be like, okay, I'm never going to stop, but I'm certainly going to stop, kind of growing at all costs. So, pretty interesting. Um, so let's stop here for a minute, and you've got a lot under your belt. You got 8 units, multiple different purchases, multiple different strategies. What are some kind of words of advice you have for new investors who are maybe they're stuck at zero, or maybe they have one and or they're not sure what to do? What's some advice Basilio would put out there?
Yeah. So my main advice, especially for a new investor, will be try not to get stuck on the analysis paralysis. I will tell you that if there is anything that I'm thankful for is for taking the first step and buying the first property, whether it was the right property or even a risky property, regardless of the risk, taking that first step is really what
Mm,
needs to be done to start the journey.
yeah. You've got to get committed, right? I really think for a lot of folks, right? Even I think it starts at writing that first offer, right? We talk about doing the work, the buy box, all of that. I think if you write that first offer that you believe is a great deal, I think that is such a even if the seller tells you to F off, I think writing that first offer, putting, I'm going to put 5,000 EMD, I'm going to put 20, I mean, whatever the contract is, that is such a monumental hurdle for some folks. I want to celebrate that. I want to celebrate people writing their first great offer. I don't really care if the seller says yes or no, but just writing that offer, that's a huge thing. What do you think?
Yeah, no, definitely. I would say always try to do your due diligence and run your numbers. But at the end of the day, you gotta take that step, and buy, make an
Yeah.
offer, like you said,
Yeah.
and that's the only way to get in the game. You really have to take action and be disciplined. That's very
Mhm.
important.
Mhm.
And at the end of the day, you gotta take action and move forward.
Yeah. One of the things that obviously I hear a lot about in Florida, but I have no idea if it's impacting your cities or your houses, is insurance costs seem to be going up. Have you seen or had to get a quote on insurance in the last 6 months or so?
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that, Michael, because I will tell you that as an investor here in Florida, that's the biggest challenge I have right now. A good portion of my cash flow has disappeared today because of the high
Ah,
expenses with insurance.
yeah, that's a big deal. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and insurance have become a big pain here in Florida. That's why also another reason why I'm thinking about continuing investing in small multifamily.
Hmm.
That way I can have the same policy for multiple doors instead of dealing with
Yes.
single,
Single
have
door.
family home insurance policies everywhere.
Yeah. So you don't have to give me the numbers, but maybe just a percentage. Like, did insurance go up 100%, 50% roughly? I have no idea.
The minimum I've seen is 40, 50% increases. And in some cases, yeah, 100% increase. Yeah.
Ooh. Yeah. So again, you bought right. You got low enough interest rates, so you're still positive cash flow. But there's got to be some investors and probably some homeowners that are getting hit with these insurance costs that they're, they have what I call an alligator, right? Are you like when you talk to other investors, are you starting to hear pain about negative cash flow? Because I'm hearing that in Texas, but not from, I guess a little bit from insurance, but from property taxes is really
Yeah.
killing investors.
Yeah, definitely. I've been hearing some people like thinking about like selling their properties and going to other markets
Mm,
where they don't have those expenses and more opportunities for cash flow. I'm here for the long term.
yeah.
I'm not planning on selling anything. Maybe I will sell something in the future if it
Yeah.
makes sense. But I think the situation with insurance in Florida eventually will be resolved. So I think as long as we can survive these difficult times, we'll be okay long term.
So when you say resolved, and again, I don't know Florida at all. I think what you're telling me is all the insurers left, and what will happen eventually is more insurers will come back and there'll be competitive pricing. So I think what you're telling me is you think insurance will go down somewhat in the next couple of years. I'm just trying to read your body language.
Yeah, basically, once we
Okay.
get to the point where we have more companies here in the state,
Co-
and there will be more
competition. Yeah.
more competition. Exactly. Yeah, we'll have more opportunities and options
All right.
as investors.
Awesome. The other thing I get a sense from you, Basilio, is something I really respect is you never stop looking, right? I talk about looking at your market every day, even if you don't have any money. It would have been really easy for you to stop and focus on what you just bought, but it doesn't seem like you've done that. Is that true?
Yeah, I've been just looking at it. I'm very busy during the day, but I always try to find at least an hour or two every day to invest on this and leave
Wow.
my time, on looking at properties, finding ways to raise capital. That's one of the things that I'm focusing on for next year. Like I
Mhm,
really want to start focusing on private money and
mhm.
start because my money can only take me that far.
Yeah.
And I definitely want to be able to buy more properties per year. So definitely private money is one of the things that I'm going to start learning and going through.
Very, very cool. So let's just continue the talk of what's coming. So 2024 and forward, you've already talked about skilling up around private money. I would tell you that the most important trait there would be to document what you've done already. Um, it's
Okay.
been the secret to raising millions of dollars for me is I never ask for private money. I just document what we're doing, and it seems to attract people saying, "Hey, I want to be a part of that. What can I help?" So again, you've done a lot already, so just document what you're doing. I think will help you a lot in that ways. But what else is coming in 2024? Yeah, you looking for still the small multifamilies?
Yeah, I'm planning to next year buy at least 4 units, whether that's a
Wow. Okay.
quad or 4 houses or 2 duplexes, right?
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
doesn't matter the combination at the end of the day.
Okay.
Preferably, multifamily, right? So 4 units. I'm gonna try to maybe aim at 6 potentially, but minimum I would like to get at least 4 doors, so I can get to my goal within the next 5 years.
All right. And I'm guessing Winter Haven, the same place you bought the duplex, is
Winter
the target.
Haven or other areas nearby because Orlando is an expensive market, but there are small cities
Oh,
that
okay.
are within an hour distance. Like
Mm,
Lakeland is another area that I'm looking at as well.
okay.
So yeah, definitely will be Winter Haven or nearby areas around
Uh,
Orlando.
uh, let's kind of wrap this up. What are some words of advice or maybe feedback for me around one rental at a time? I know Basili, you've been following me or a part of my world for several years now. What would you tell people that maybe see this channel for the first time, or they look at the course or whatever? What are some ideas or thoughts you have about one rental at a time?
Yeah, so what I would say to new investors or anybody that is looking for help on real estate, one rental at a time is a great program, a great course, and there is so much value that you provide to all of us, Michael, that I think, and I'm an example of that. I definitely have what I have today because of your help and your guidance on a lot of things in the past that I had in my mind trying to understand certain things that because of your channel and the content that you provide, I was able to take that step and get to the point where I was able to move forward. So I would say new investors, I know there is a lot of hesitation, fear, but if you enroll on Silver's course, you will be in the right place, to learn and
Yeah.
start investing.
I appreciate that. I know you're a very busy man. Cybersecurity is a very, very busy space, but are we going to see you in Vegas on February 17th and 18th?
Oh yeah, the first day when you posted about the event, I bought my VIP ticket. I was one of the first ones, I'm
Nice.
sure.
Yeah. Basilio. So again, folks, if you want to see Basilio asking questions about Florida, he will be in Vegas. I look forward to that. Any closing thoughts?
No, the last thing I will say, Michael, thank you very much for the time and being able to contribute to your channel. That was a great opportunity for me, and
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to see you in Vegas and the rest of
There
the
you go.
group.
And tell us about you have an Instagram page, right? That maybe if somebody wanted to reach out or DM you, what is that?
Yeah, so they can just look me up on Instagram at Cyber Investor Florida. That will be the main platform where you can find me. You can DM me there.
Folks, Cyber Investor Florida. Send him a note. Let him know how he did on the show. I think it was amazing. Send him a note. I appreciate you, man. Take care, Basilio.
Thank you.
Mhm.